Hey guys, welcome to another deck list profile. Today we're going to be going over Donphan walls. Now, a couple years back, I posted another Donphan walls list if you want to dig through the archives and find that video. This list is much more updated than that. It doesn't have the weird, like, should ninja, like, preventing you from dying stuff. It's more modernized and more straightforward. And doesn't have a lot of cute things in it. It's just kind of like a direct, pretty much these are the only two attackers sort of style of deck. I built this with the intention of, oh yeah, like this totally destroys Magnezone, but if you watched the video of Donphan versus Magnezone, you realize that that's necessarily not true. So, finally showing you the list from that video. This list might change just like slightly when Burning Shadows comes out. But it's unlikely. This list is still very untouched. There's a few things that you could possibly add, maybe the Porygon Z, but outside of that, there's not a lot to change, really. But anyways, if you don't know what Donphan does, there's two Donphans we're going to play. This one's going to be like the main one. It's 130 HP non-EX Pokemon, so that's why, it's great if you can find like an evolution that's non-holo. They're just inherently better. It does 40 damage and then switches. So the idea is to pot shot him for 40 and then retreat and then switch into some sort of wall attacker, whether that be a something that can't get hit or something that doesn't take up a prize when it dies, something like a Robo-Sub, Clefairy or like a Mysterious Fossil, that sort of thing. So that's the idea with this one. And then you also, if you can ever charge up Wreck, excuse me, Wreck does 80 plus 60 if there's a Stadium in play, so you can really take easy one-shots there if you need to. This other Donphan Prime, it is an EX, but it does have the Exoskeleton ability, so you're reducing damage by 20. We don't play Hard Charm, but it is a consideration to play a Hard Charm, so you're reducing damage by 40. I think I would just rather have stuff like Muscle Band or Focus Sash or some other things on here. I think that's why I don't. But it does 60 damage for 1 energy and 10 to all of your bench Pokemon, so we play a Mr. Mime bench blocker to stop that 10 damage spread. But at the same time, that 10 damage spread necessarily isn't the worst. And then Heavy Impact for 90, this is just kind of like, hey, you're playing this Donphan, you might as well play this one because it's a really, really good attacker. So there are your two Donphans. The two families you play, I don't think much matters. This one has like the Flail ability, and I think there's another one with an ability of some sort. But those are the two Fanfies, and the two Donphans, you're pretty much your own attackers. So, going back to the spinning turn thing, so if you're playing a spinning turn, what sort of things are you spinning turning into? Well, we have Zekrom, we have Suicune, Tyrogue, Elekid. These are like your four main walls, quote-unquote. These two are baby Pokemon. They have the baby power where if they declare an attack, they have to flip a coin to attack you. This guy works really well with Focus Sash because you have to actually like knock him out on a coin flip and then get the Focus Sash. A Focus Bam works on him because there's like a 25% chance that he dies and a 75% chance he lives, so it's pretty cool. This Elekid's good for like early damage from the bench. That 20 damage can come into play at some points, but it's just another baby Pokemon. Suicune can't get hit by EXs, and if you're wondering why the 100 HP and 2 Retreat is played, it's because the Sigilyph is an EX. It is a Holo Rare. I think I can't remember the cutoff for Holo Rares, but it is an EX, I know that. And then Zekrom is to get rid of anything that's fighting resistance, usually has lightning weakness. This might actually need to be changed to a different lightning attacker, because in the Magnezone matchup, the stuff that is resistant to fighting can one-shot Zekrom pretty easily. So this card might not be the best, but those are 4 of the walls that we're going to play. We also play, we play the bench blocking Mr. Mime, but we also play this Mr. Mime from Jungle as another wall. Any damage 30 or more done to him is negated. So you have to two-shot him or goop around him. So he's kind of a fun card to use in that regard. So those are those two Mr. Mimes we play. And then, like I said, Mysterious Fossils, we're going to play the max count here. We're going to play 4 of them. They're just good ways to play wall sort of... you retreat on them. And since you do play the Mysterious Fossil, you can also have the opportunity to play Aerodactyls. This Aerodactyl is really good for upping the damage on things. The damage output with this deck is tricky sometimes. You might not be able to take knockouts. You have to, like, spinning turn things and hope they don't Lysander you. So you have to take 2 shots on things, and that's, like, the whole strategy, is to just deny them, prize, and chip away at them. So when I say chip away at them, this Aerodactyl works really good for that, because every time they use an ability, they take 20. And then this Aerodactyl is a non-EX Pokemon that can deal 120 for 2 energies. Super, super good attacker. If you're playing a Mysterious Fossil line, you might as well be playing this guy too. Just because, you know, they don't necessarily expect it to Mysterious Fossil to be like, bam, 120 damage, and then they're like, whoa, that's all of a sudden in my face. Because it is DCE chargeable. So, like, if you have one of these on the field, you can teammates and just grab DCE Aerodactyl and bop someone. So, if you're playing these, you might as well play this, and then this one's good for chip damage, and it's good just in general. You could play the Evolution Blocker one if you wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it because if your Donphan gets knocked out, you have to find a way around it. And then the rest of the Pokemon are going to be the 10 support Pokemon that I put in every deck, pretty much. You know, the 1-1 Claydol, the 2-2 Porygon line, and then these 4 amazing starting Pokemon. Oh, not starting Pokemon, but support Pokemon. There's only 2 of those I'd actually like to start. 2 starters and 2 supports. So, that's it for the Pokemon. Moving on to supporters. Now the rest of these are going to kind of look kind of standard. There's a few exceptions, but they are going to be a fairly standard supporter line. Wally to get into your Stage 1 evolutions quicker. You have Sycamore, very standard. Rosie's one of the best search cards in the game. Sage's training to kind of blow through your deck a little bit more. You might be kind of curious, hey, you're not looking to discard things while you're playing Sages. Honestly, like, I just need a better draw supporter here. Generally, this deck only needs 1 or 2 pieces you can pitch. Like, sometimes if you're playing against a non-EX deck, you have a lot of dead cards. You have the Suicune that's dead. If you don't want to play the Zekrom down, that's dead. You know, you have a lot of, like, Pokemon that are just dead cards. So, Sage just kind of helps you get around those dead cards. Skylar, pretty standard. Teammate's very standard. And Twins to kind of help you grab 2 cards, whatever you need. Rocket's Admin, super, super standard. Side note on this, if this card's like $9 right now, if you're looking to play with your friends, just play 2-win. Like, you don't need to get this card, just play 2-wins. Be like, hey, one of them's Rockets, they're the same thing. Copycat, one of the best shuffle draws. Baby's one of the best search cards. Colress, shuffle draw. Hex, very, very standard. Iris, you might not see this in every deck, but this actually is a really good card in U150 because of the 8 prize rule. And it's even better in Donphan because your deck does struggle with damage output. So having a late game Iris there is actually super, very important. Excuse me. Karina, usually you see this because everyone plays Claydol, however, it's a fighting-based deck, so Karina gets that much more extra value because you can pretty much always search for a card with Karina. If you're playing it in a non-fighting deck, you really only search out your Claydol line, so having this Karina extra value there. Lookers, a good shuffle draw, disruption. Lysander and Lysander's trump card, both very standard. One of the best recoveries of Marley's Request, and also standard. Mallow, because I have like 8 decks put together right now, and some of them are Mallow and some of them are Oracle. So this one's just Mallow. I don't want to print up a proxy for this. Pokemon Collector, best search. Juniper, Oaks, and then we're playing Brimies. Now you might be like, oh, you're playing EX. Why not play AZ? Well, that is a good question, but at the same time, it's only 1 EX, and the rest of the time, Brimies is going to be picking up something else. So I'll play Brimies over AZ in this deck. You don't play a lot of energies, so conserving those is also important. But if you're considering AZ, play AZ. I would actually consider Acerola more so in this deck because Donphan does damage all your bench. So Acerola would probably be your best bet once that comes out. So there's that. Item-based cards. It's going to be quite a bit of them. Like I said, there's not much energy in this deck, and there lets you have room for other stuff. So you got Bill, like I said, going in a lot more decks now. Computer Search, Double Gust. Now, you might not see this in a lot of decks of mine either, but I think this deck needs as many gusting effects as possible. Because of the low damage output, you want to try to chip away at their bench sitters that are getting damaged by Aerodactyl. Just the one extra gusting card is kind of needed in a deck that struggles with damage sometimes. Evo Soda, pretty standard. Junk Arm, very standard. Level Ball, standard. Your main attackers are 1 energy, so you might as well play Max Potion. Max Potion also helps you heal the damage off of something that like gets pot-shotted, and you have Focus Sash on there and need it to be clean. So Max Potion, very, very underrated card in this deck, especially because Donphan Prime is kind of a tank if they can't hit that 140 one-shot. So being able to turn them, 3 shots into 4 shots is great. Another reason why Hard Charm would be great on the Exoskeleton Donphan. Misty's Wrath to blow through your deck. Pokemon Communication, great search. Professor Oak, very, very standard card. You have a Pokemon Retriever in here. Scoop Up, super standard card to get stuff off of your bench. Super Rod for recovery. Switch, if you don't have your Flowstone or your Fluffy Berry, I play a lot of switching cards to get them out of the active so you can keep attacking with the switching Donphan. Swoop Teleporter, very standard. Warp Point, like I said, you play a lot of switching cards to get stuff out of the active. Field Blower instead of Windstorm, just because I'm running out of cards. Versus Seeker, very standard. Ultra Ball, very standard. Luxury Ball, all standard sort of things you see. I can't talk enough about Imposter Okra's Dimension, and I think it's singularly the best card in the format. I think it needs to go in every single deck, but that's just me. Item Finder, very staple. Tile Pad to get stuff back. You struggle with damage, so you might as well play Hypnotoxic Laser. Pokemon Center, the Donphan that does 10 to all of your bench. If you don't have the Mime out, but you still want to save your damage, you can Pokemon Center basically heal all of your Pokemon. Really, really nice. And then Robo Stubborn Clefairy, like I said, stuff you can spin into, and they have to lie standard to not take it. They have to attack into it, sort of thing. So, playing as many of those as possible is super awesome. Moving right along, stadiums. Pretty much the stadiums that you would have probably anticipated are in here. Broken Time Space in every deck. Skyfield, you do struggle with bench space at times, just because you have a lot of bench sitters. So having a Skyfield to play some stuff, it also acts as a way to heal, because you can play all your stuff and then next turn get rid of Skyfield. And then Fighting Stadium to boost your fighting Pokemon's attacks. The other one you consider is Stark Mountain. It helps charge up your Wreck a little bit easier. If you have energy just sitting on your bench, you can move it over to Donphan, slap a DCE, and Wreck easier. So Stark Mountain is another thing that I would definitely consider. And even if you're looking for draw power, Scorched Earth. But you don't play many energies, so that one might not work out as well. Tool cards. Play a lot of tools here. You'll notice Fluffy Berry and Floatstone because you want to be able to have fluidity in this deck. There's a lot of attacking and then switching, so you need to have both of these in the deck. Choice Band and Muscle Band to help with your damage output, both very standard there. And then Focus Sash and Focus Band to keep your walls alive. Both of these can go on Tyrogue. Focus Sash can go on Donphan, so it never gets Lysander one-shotted. These are both very, very good cards in this deck. Like I said, you're not doing much damage, but you need to prevent them from taking knockouts. So having both of these in your deck is very good. And we're closing it out here. We have the Elite Four. No reason not to play any of them. And then Dowser Machine, one of the best recoveries. I think this is the going to be the ace spec of choice more often than not. And last but not least, we have energies. These energy line might be a little bit strange, but the only reason that it might be a little bit strange is because there is a rainbow energy in there. And the rainbow energy in there is so you can attack with any of your backup attackers if absolutely need be. You can use Meditate with Mr. Mime. You can use Suicune if you need to. I was contemplating playing a double rainbow in here, but you can't attach it to Donphan Prime because it's an EX. You only can attach it to the spinning turn Donphan, and I say play Stark Mountain over that to help you charge it up quicker. So, and then 6 fighting energies, pretty much all you need. Your main attackers only attack for 1 energy, so no need to play more than this. I was playing 7, and it seemed like that's the weird part. I was playing 7, and it seemed like a lot, and then I dropped to 6, and I was like, oh, this might not be enough. But it does give you a lot of room for other things. There are a lot of things you can drop and play differently. Like I said, you can play Stark Mountain. You can even play like other Mysterious Fossils, not Mysterious Fossils, but other Fossil Evolving cards because they have the same effect as Mysterious Fossil if you're just looking for more walls. And honestly, that wouldn't be a bad way of playing this deck, is to just play Donphan and like a whole bunch of things that just don't give up prize cards. You can play all of like the Claw Fossil, the Root Fossil, you can play one of each name, plus your 4 Mysterious Fossils, your Robosub, and your Clefairy Doll. So you can play a whole lot of ways to like switch into and not get hit. Another thing to consider too, if you're looking for type coverage, instead of playing the Zekrom, you could play the Arceus, the Lightning Arceus from Arceus set. It actually does 30 and switches. It's for 2 energy, so it's kind of costly, but in that scenario you could play a blend energy, you could play a multi-energy, and you can play the rainbow energy to help charge that up and your main attacker, so that if you ever had something that was fighting resistance and lightning weak, you could use that to kind of pop them. So, it was a quicker decklist video. I'm writing my second article for PokeBeach right now, and I kind of hit writer's block, so that's why I want to rush through this. But if you have any questions based on the Donphan, please let me know. The video between this and Magnezone was put up, so go ahead and take a look at that. If not, hope you guys have a great rest of your day.